I'm about to embark on another project I am really gonna regret. Apparently I didn't learn my lesson from the Jinx cosplay or the 5-day ball gown, because I'm about to embark on another time-limited, expensive project. And I really shouldn't. At this point I'm kind of concerned for myself. I'm gonna make a Rapunzel cosplay. I mean, we all know I have a very extra personality, which is perfectly suited for teaching preschoolers. And we're having a Prince and Princess week in 10 days. So I have 10 days to make a Rapunzel cosplay. Now, I have done a Rapunzel cosplay before. It was before I knew what the word cosplay was. I can't find any photos of it. It was for a school thing we did. And I threw out the wig, which is really annoying because it was made entirely of yarn. So I'm gonna have to restart that. I don't even know where I'm gonna start. Well, let's do a bit of research. Arachnophobia warning. Everybody meet Jeffrey. I just noticed he was up there. He's only got 5 legs. I don't know what happened to him. I'm hoping my cat didn't get a hold of him. But I don't know if he's alive or dead. So we'll see. Did he just twitch? He might be alive. Here it is. I think the best chance I have for success is to make this in multiple pieces. So I already have a skirt from the last time I did a Rapunzel cosplay, but it is just a plain purple satin skirt. It's also very dark in colour, so I'm not... I don't know. And that is a lot of hand embroidery, but we'll see. I think so. Skirt. There's an underskirt there too. I don't know if I need a petticoat or something like a hoop skirt, anything like that underneath. I'm not sure. Probably not, because I'm going to be dancing in it. This is a corset. Again, not sure how much dancing I can do in a corset, but if I make it accurately fit my proportions, it should be fine. I mean, like, historical corsets, people did field work in, so...
Editing Kai here, because I don't want my video to contribute to the misinformation of corsets that exists all over the world. Corsets historically were the equivalent of a bra. They were there to support you and to help hold up all of the heavy layers of fabric that people wore. All of those skirts, the layers and layers, would dig into your waist if you didn't have something structured like a corset to hold them up. There was some prevalence of tight lacing. It was the extremists. Like, you got people in today's society who wear heels so tall they break their ankle. You get people who are extremes everywhere. But historically, the illusion of corsets was made by a combination of a little bit of reduction due to the lacing and padding. People padded their breasts and their hips to give the illusion of a smaller figure. So corsets historically weren't uncomfortable to wear, and they were made to your precise dimensions because they didn't have fast fashion. Everything was custom made for you, or you would make it yourself. I'm not used to wearing corsets, and I've never had one that perfectly fits me. At the end of the day, corsets were not these death traps we know them as. Just wanted to make sure that I'm not contributing to the misunderstanding of corsetry that's out there. I love corsets. I really want to make a corset myself one day that perfectly fits my body, but the amount of work required to make a corset is insane. If you'd like to see a corset video, and I could do a full deep dive into historical corsetry in that video, I'd love to do that. Anyway, back to the Rapunzel video. I might do like a chemise to go under the corset, under the skirt. I could add the lace to this chemise so it pokes out the middle, but then have the sleeves and stuff attached to that. That might be the best bet. Oh god, I'm gonna regret this. Alrighty, Madeline is back, and here is the skirt I wore when I've done this cosplay previously. Now, looking at it, I think I will need to have some kind of layer underneath, even if I add to the underskirt like some netting or something just to bulk it out a bit, because it's very straight and it's also very long, so I need a hem it. I don't actually think this is a circle skirt, which is my typical what I go for. I made this when I was like 15 or 16, so I was young. It also has an elasticated waistband, which we all know I try to avoid at all costs, but it'll be hidden by the corset. I can't believe I'm trying to make a corset and whole cosplay in 10 days. This is what we have to start with. It has none of the detailing, none of the embroidery. On second thought, it might be better if I don't know, buy applique or even... I think the colour of the skirt is too dark to put like fabric marker or something on. I don't know what the plan is. I will make it work regardless. And I know that in the photo it looks like she's got 2 skirts, but the way it moves, it's only 1 skirt. So I won't split it or anything. I'm just gonna leave it. But I'll put some pink ribbon down the sides so that it looks the same. Alrighty, let's see what materials I have to make a corset out of. Alrighty, so I've cut out my pattern pieces and I've started sewing them together, but what I realised is I've sewn these last 2 panels on wrong, so I'm gonna have to unpick them and then redo them. Anyone want to play guess what project Kai has started? I don't already.
I have finished sewing both the outer and inner layers. I'm worried it's going to be too thin, particularly since the inner layer is a little bit see-through, which, I mean, doesn't matter, it's on the inside, but I'm worried I need like a stiffer, thicker fabric. I don't think I have anything like that. Now I'm trying to work out how to do the boning channels. So I thought I had some clear zip ties. I've only got black ones, which is fine, but because this layer should be thick enough that it wouldn't be seen on the outside. It'll just mean it'll be seen on the inside a little, but it doesn't really matter. The other thing is I'm gonna admit something. I actually don't know what bias binding is meant to be used for. I think it might be for covering up seams or finishing edges on things. I'm not 100% sure. What I like to use it for is, you see that little gap there. If you sew the two edges down onto a piece of fabric, it makes the perfect little boning channel. So I'm going to use it against the inner line, the lining layer to make the boning channels. I think first I'm going to have to iron both the inner and outer layer, which is annoying, but it's part of the process. I'm also still going to make the straps real quick. I need to do that before I put away all this fabric. I'm also, if I can grab it, I am watching Tangled while I'm doing it. I'm starting to get it into my head about how big of a project I've decided to undertake. But I have some really pretty lace that I can use for the details around her corset, and I'm excited to use it. I've been wanting to use this lace for ages, and I'm thinking if I use it on the underskirt as well as around the trims of the corset, it'll look really pretty. I want something stiffer in the middle so it's a little bit more like an actual corset, so I can wear it as an actual corset. This corset's gonna be the death of me. I've sewn the boning channels in, and then I started pinning it to my dress form, and it doesn't fit. I followed the pattern, but I guess my body doesn't follow the standard sizing because it just doesn't fit right. So I'm thinking about drafting from a brightly colored fabric, drafting a corset pattern on my dress form, overlooking the edges of that, and then having a permanent corset pattern. It'd be good for my, just because I like making corset style shirts and corsets, so I think that's what I'm gonna do. But it kind of means I'm back to square one, which sucks. Oh well. Okay, so I did go through with making the pattern pieces for the corset. I've got back panel, back side, front, and so I'll need 2 of each of these and 1 of each of these. And Madeline is a little bit naked now. There's fabric everywhere. I've made a big mess, but hopefully these ones will work better than the pattern I bought. Let's hope so. Okay. So I have these pattern pieces that I made on my dress form, and now comes the part where my plan is I'm going to be uncharacteristically smart for once, and I'm going to not make this corset out of the materials I actually want to use for the corset. I'm going to first use the pattern to make a mock-up so that I can make sure it's the right size and shape. I don't want to remake. If I have to resew boning channels, I'm going to be really, really sad. So we're going to start. I think I'm just going to make a black one because I've been wanting a black corset anyway, so if it works, great, I have a black corset. If it doesn't, I have plenty of black fabric. It should be fine. So that is my plan. See how it goes. I have some good news. So, despite this being rushed, unironed, and choppily cut, it does fit. It doesn't fit on over my shoulders, but it fits my body proportions, which means that when I use the pattern to make it out of the correct fabric, it will fit, which is very exciting. And particularly once I have the lace up, it can be slightly adjustable. I'm so excited. I've just got to start the real corset again. And I'm considering doing the boning channels on the inside of the inner layer, because I didn't want to do that originally, but I've sewn both, like this is 2 layers, but I've sewn them together here, and I think it works a lot better than what I did before, which was effectively I was making a pocket and putting them in the pocket, so it might be better if I just bite the bullet and sew both layers together to begin with, because then I can like overlock the 2 layers together, which will be nice. This gives me hope. I'm excited to see how it goes. It's been a couple days since I've worked on this, but I have some good news, which is that I got the dates wrong and I have an extra week to work on this project. My lovely cat Loki has come to join me, and I got at Hobby Sew, I finally got a cutting mat. So I can use my rotary cutter to cut out the pattern pieces, and I can pin them, I think, straight to the mat, which will make it so much easier. Or even just weigh down the fabric and cut around it. So I'm so excited. It's going to make it so much easier. So I'm really excited to see how this goes. And it's time to actually cut out the lining and outer layers for the real corset. I didn't like the pocket that I made the first time, so I'm gonna do whatever I did with the trial corset, which was, I think, sew each panel together first. But yeah, we'll make it work. I'm also considering adding a second layer of lining or something because it is quite thin, so adding extra layers might be a good idea. So yeah, let's give it a go. It is time once again for one of my least favorite parts of sewing, which is the obscene amounts of ironing. This skirt is very, very crinkledy. It definitely needs an iron. And I've got all my pattern pieces for the bodice, and I've got to iron all of these. Then I'm going to pin them together, overlock them together. I'll try and hem the skirt today as well. Whilst I've got my overlocker out, I might as well overlock these pattern pieces for the bodice because I really like them and I'd like to keep them. So that's the plan. I'm a little scared, but we'll see how it goes.
All those days watching from a window, all those years outside looking in, all that time never even knowing just how blind I've been. Now I'm here blinking in the starlight, now I'm here, suddenly I see. Alrighty, so I just finished sewing the bodice together. So now what I've got to do is split it down the center because Rapunzel's bodice ties together in the front, so I've got to take a pair of scissors, split it down the center. I was considering overlocking the edges, but I think if I just fold them over a couple times and then stitch it down, it'll be fine. Another concern that might help with is last time I used eyelets, it tore the fabric and then they didn't stay where they were meant to. So I'm hoping having the extra layers will make it tough enough that the eyelets won't damage it, but it's also going to be harder to hammer the eyelets on. Alrighty, another progress check. I have sewn the edges and ironed all of the seams flat. I'm undecided about the boning channels as of right now because they take ages to sew and I don't know if I'll quite have the time, but pretty stiff, so it should be fine without, at least for teaching. I gotta dance in it, so I'm gonna try and sew the bottom and top, and I've gotta find some ribbon in my collection to add to the bottom of the corset. So, I've pinned it. I'm really scared to sew this because I don't know if it'll actually work. That's what the base looks like. I've added this little peak of lace out, and I think it looks so cute. I'm worried about how thick this fabric is because it's thick. I've got 9 layers, I think. Yeah, 9 layers at the thickest part. Oh, folded over twice. 18 layers. I'm really worried my needle won't make it through. I do have leatherworking needles somewhere in my sewing box, so if I break a needle, I'll try and get one of those out. But yeah, wish me luck. So often there's that one step in a project that makes it turn from this is a severe work in progress to I can actually see the vision coming together. There's usually this moment where you go, this is gonna work. When I was making the Jinx cosplay, it was when I had been stringing all the hair together, I'd been untying it, and then to organize it because the layers were all blending together, Bryn and I braided it, and when I saw the mini braid, I went, this is gonna work. This is gonna work. And for this project, I've just finished the bottom seam of the corset and I trimmed it with lace and it looks so good. This is working. It's gonna work. It's such a great feeling to have been putting all this effort into something and then something clicks about it. It's such a good feeling. I'm so excited for the rest of it. Alrighty, so another update. I have sewn along the top seam and I've pinned the shoulder straps on. This one was sucked up by our robot vacuum, so that's why it looks a little bit dirty and dusty. I think I'll wash the whole thing once I make it and that should fix anything. Now what I'm considering is the undershirt. What it looks like from what I can see in the animation, underneath the corset she's got effectively a shirt underneath that finishes just around the same level as the corset. And then that's what has the lace trim at the top and that's what has the puff sleeves. I could make it, but I don't know if I'll have the time. So the other option is to use one of these puff sleeve dresses as my underlayer. Now I don't have stripy ones, but they do both have florals, which is quite on theme for Rapunzel. So that's what I'm considering. We'll have a look, see what they look like. And now, next step is to punch the eyelet holes and hope that the 9 layers of fabric is enough to hold up to it this time. Fingers crossed.
Okay, great news, it's working. I've got the eyelets in on one half. I think it was just when I was doing the eyelets for the underskirt on that dress I was working on, just because of how thin the fabric was, it was tearing the like 9 layers of fabric that are in this fold. It seemed to be holding it really well. Yay! Alrighty, we have 5 days left to go until I get to wear my Rapunzel cosplay. What I have done is I've cut the skirt down to size and I've overlocked the edge, and now I have pinned the lace to the edges. So now I am going to sew that on, and then I'm going to sew ribbon down the front to make her fake panel at the front that she has. And then I have this bridal lace that I think might work well as a replacement for the floral, I think it's painted designs she's got down her skirt, but I don't have fabric paint. I considered doing embroidery, but there's just a lot of it to do, so I don't think I would get it done in time. I might do a little bit of embroidery on the bodice or on the middle panel of the skirt if I have time, but yeah, I'm going to sew that bottom layer on. So I've sewn the lace on and ironed it down. I did have the iron a little too hot, so it melted a little bit, but then I fixed it. And now I've pinned the little strips she has at the front of her dress down. I think they're technically pink, but all of the like cosplays and costumes they sell have the gold ones, so I'm gonna do gold. And I think this thread should look fine. Otherwise, I could do a contrasting thread, but my sewing would have to be perfect in order to do that, and I don't think it is. So I think I might just go with the like yellowy one. It's coming together! Okay, so now that the skirt is pretty much done, I can add the applique if I want, but it is looking really good without as well, so I'll just wait and see if I have time. Otherwise I could start embroidering it, or I could go buy fabric paint and paint it, but we'll work that out later. I have this old shirt. The sleeves are too short for me, so I was planning on cutting them out and making like a tank top out of this anyway, and I've just realized that if I'm going to make an undershirt, it needs to have long sleeves with a lace on the end and the puff sleeves. So I can use these because they're going to be a little bit short anyway, like they'll be the perfect size for it. So I'm going to cut the sleeves off of that, and then for the puff sleeves I have the cut-offs from the bottom of the skirt because the skirt was too long when I originally made it, and I have this really pretty sparkly pink ribbon. You can't see the sparkles on camera, but it's sparkly and it looks really cool. And yeah, so I'm going to try and work on those sleeves now. I don't wear a lot of, you know, those like camisole shirts that people wear underneath things. I don't wear a lot of them. I've got a lot of them. I might take one of those and attach all this stuff to it, so yeah. I think I have a pink one. I have cut out my sleeve panels and overlocked the edges. Now what I want to do is make some channels. I'm going to have an elasticated channel at the top and the bottom. I would like to put, this is the bottom panel, I'd like to put this pretty ribbon around the bottom of the channel. I think that would be really cute. The only thing I'm concerned about is I don't know how I'll get it to stay on because it's elasticated and this is not. So I don't know if that'll actually work, but I don't have much of it left. So. And then I've got this ribbon, the pretty sparkly pink. Oh, you can actually see the sparkles, yay! But I got this ribbon for the stripes. Now, I don't have much of this one either. That's all I got. So, I'm gonna have to be sparing with it. That's why I'm like making the channels and stuff first, because once I've got that all organized, then I'll cut the ribbons into stripes, and I'll probably have to space them quite far apart in order to make it stretch over both sleeves, but alrighty, I have done some sewing. My sleeves look like this. That's inside out. This is if they look the right way around. I'm going to put in one channel, or maybe both, I'm not quite sure yet. This is hat elastic. I don't know what the difference is between hat elastic and normal elastic. It's got some normal elastic, but I don't think it's enough. So I'll start with the hat elastic. And I've cut my pretty pink ribbon into 16 strips or 14 strips, 12 strips, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 strips. So 6 stripes per arm. I just need to do a lot of sewing and avoid the, so when I'm doing this sewing on the inside, when I sewed, it's a bit messy so you can't really see, but I had to avoid the channels when I was sewing across. So I'm going to have to avoid the channels with each of the stripes so that I can still get the elastic in. So my next step is to sew all of these on and then to thread the elastic through the channels sleeve should be done. I'm considering just wearing a normal long-sleeved white shirt under the corset and the sleeves, and because if they're just elasticated, I could just pull them up and just have them sit on my shoulders. I could add a snap to secure it to the corset, so then I've got effectively detachable sleeves for the corset, because that might be beneficial. I'm a little worried about dancing in long sleeves in summer. Oh, it's not summer, it's like autumn. It's been really hot at the moment. But yeah, I'm a little worried about dancing in it, but we've got aircon in the studio, it should be fine. Yeah, hopefully it all goes well. So I was starting to pin these to the sleeves, and then I realized that a lot of them are fraying, but I tested this scrap and it melted, so it's polyester. So I'm going to go around and take a lighter to all of the ends. Actually, I might light a tea light candle and then use that. But yeah, I'll burn all the ends so that they don't fray anymore, and then I'll pin them to the sleeve, because I think that'll make it a lot easier. I've just finished one of the cat sleeves, and for just a reminder, we started with this, with a big rectangle of this fabric. Like, I think I'm gonna have to add a snap fastener to the top and bottom and attach it to the corset. Every time I put it on, it like slides down. But like, that's Rapunzel. That's Rapunzel from Tangled. That's her sleeve. I'm so happy with it. I'm so happy. This cosplay is coming out so good. Alrighty, so I bought these metallic fabric paints from Hobby Sew, and I've just started drawing some like floral swirly patterns on the skirt. I don't know if I'll do some on the bodice, but I'm going to do this dark pink on the edges here like she has on her dress, and I've just been adding this subtle purple detail in the center because she's got, I don't know if it's the fabric itself has details on it, but I figured that'll look good. So yeah, exciting! Alright, here's today's plan. I'm going to make the second sleeve. I'm going to add a second layer of paint to the skirt. If I have time, I'll start chopping this shirt apart to turn into the Rapunzel undershirt. Main goal is just to get the sleeve done. Well, is how did I do the first sleeve? I know I had sideways panels, I secured them at each end, and then I put the ribbon on, I think. And for the bottom one, I just gathered it. So hopefully I can make them look the same. Let's do this! Shirt from a thrift store, and I've just roughly chopped out the square shaped neckline that she has. So now I'm going to overlock it, and then I'm going to trim it with lace. I'll probably use this one, which is the same one I used for the bottom of the corset, and then I'll also attach the lace to the sleeves, and then I'm either going to do press studs to secure the little puff sleeves, or just a stitch at the top and a stitch at the bottom. I don't think I need a stitch the whole way around, so yeah, I might, if I do press studs, it means I can wash this undershirt, which, oh, no, because they can't put the metal in the washing machine, can I? We'll see. First step, overlocking. Okay, I'm gonna have to iron it because it keeps rolling down, and I did end up sewing the sleeves on the whole way because this material is so difficult to sew on. Once I have the corset on, it should help with the sliding down aspect. So all I have left to do is add lace to the sleeve, and then the undershirt should be done. It's got all its details. I've got my corset, my puff sleeves, I sewed the lace on, I have Pascal with me. Oh, I'm so excited. I am a Disney princess. 7 a.m. the usual morning lineup. Starting the chores and sweep till the floor's all clean. Polish next to laundry, mop and shine up. Sweep again, and by then it's like 7:15, and so I'll read a book, or maybe 2 or 3. I'll add a few new paintings to my gallery. I'll play guitar and knit and cook, and basically just wonder, when will my life begin?